Hello everybody, we are coming at you live from Spa in Belgium. We are coming to the end of qualifying here in the iFormula League, week 3 of season 4, and we're going to be gridding up here for our feature race. And we are looking at some real good competition up front. We have Lucas Lins up front, starting in pole, Tieco Krigsman in second, and Jake Potts in third. We've seen them last couple weeks doing some really good work, getting some really good points. Tieco Krigsman leading the championship right now. Lucas Link is a few spots back, but I'd like to welcome Josh Wood. He is my co-commentator today. How you feeling today, Josh?
Doing all right. It's really nice to join the booth with you here. It's the first time doing anything like this, so take it easy on me.
Yeah, we're coming at you from Spa, as you guys can see on the big banner there. Gridding up, we have another minute for the grid, so we're going to play our commercial here from one of our sponsors, Extreme Scoring.
Extreme Scoring to do the work for you.
All right, and they are one of our sponsors here that take care of our back end scoring. They are great. We also have Butt Kicker, who supplies us with a couple the Gamer Plus units, and then we also have Capral Racing. You'll see a couple of their yellow and black cars out there. Lucas Lins being the one right up front there. Capral Sim Racing, they have some great sim racing gear. Go check them out. But we are coming down to it here, Josh. Let's see. We got 8 seconds left until we're going green, and this is exciting. Can't wait to really see these guys go at it for 18 laps, and we're waiting on these 5 green lights, and we are off. Great start from Lins. He has Jake Potts right behind him. Tieco Krigsman taking the outside line. Ooh, we're going to go 3 wide here into turn 1. Ooh, and people all over the place. Ooh, wow. Back of the grid is completely destroyed here. No safety car, however. Couple cars going off. Some terminal damage for a few cars there. Jake Potts right on the back of Lins. Tieco Krigsman a couple car lengths back there. Lins leading the charge down the back straight. We're almost 3 wide with Potts, Lins, and Krigsman. With Potts up front. With teammate Weston Epson, 4th right behind. 2 wide from the Dutchman and Mr. Lins there. Seems like things are starting to fall into place slightly behind him. Couple 2 wide going into the last couple of turns here. Jake Potts getting a little bit of space, not a lot. Krigsman closing the gap on him very, very quickly. Really tight race so far, right out of the gates. We have 18 laps of this, but these drivers are keeping it close. Drop back a couple. Jeff Schroeder getting some pressure there from Miller. That red colored camo Red Bull there. And all of our intervals are right on top of each other. Nobody's given up an inch to start off this race. We have some guys in the back. Paul Ayala, Mercury Motorsports, trying to make up some ground on Marion Barbaro, who is chasing Alexander Shanna. Ooh, Barbaro goes wide. Ayala gets by him. We have a couple moves happening up front. Weston Epps. Ooh, and who is that? That is Yanni getting just a little bit of Weston Epps' wheel there. And they make some contact. Yanni dropping down, and it looks like he is in the pit lane. He might be out for the feature race. Remember, we have a sprint race coming up right after this that is 5 laps long. Not nearly as long as this 18-lapper, but it is very exciting as we've seen in previous weeks. Now that we're starting to settle in here, Jake Potts getting about a 8/10 of a lead after lap 1. Lucas Ling's getting about a second back from Krigsman there, but he's getting pressured by Weston Epps. And Mr. Epps is, ooh, wow. I don't know what just happened there. Linz just had a little bit of an off track, almost lost it, but Epps gets by him, now into third. That's looking good for the Knox E-Motorsports team. In Weston Epps and Jake Potts both first and third here. But Krigsman is going to do anything he can to try and defend his leading position in the standings right now. The team standings and driver standings both belong to Krigsman and his Get Good Racing team. Teammates include Marion Barbaro, who is moving up a few positions. Looks like John Journey might have gone off. Yep, he's coming back onto the track. A little bit of a mishap there. But all these cars down the grid. We can just go down the grid and just see battles everywhere. Andy Ray Miller chasing down Jeff Schroeder. We have Linz chasing down Epps. Flodman leading Jackson Carr. Alexander Shanna. Marion Barbaro right behind him. Paul Ayala right behind him, putting some real pressure on Barbaro. Jack Clark, the last of the Get Good Racing team, right there behind his team principal, Marion Barbaro. And a first-time racer in Tristan Marshall. He is a one-man Wolfpack team this week, but he is looking like we're in the Blue Frog livery already. So he will be joining Blue Frog Racing later on this week, going into Brazil. That was announced recently. But Josh, what are you seeing here? What are you liking with this racing going on so far?
Since we got past the first turn, everything's been looking rather clean. It's just a good feeling out process. Spa is one of those tracks that are rather wide open when it comes to the long straight. I'd be lying if I said I knew everything about the track, but it's one of the more familiar tracks I am with.
Yeah, and it's one of those tracks that you really can you can make up a lot of time down the straight, or you can make up a lot of time in the turns here in the middle sector. If you have a high downforce, medium downforce, or low downforce. You can see on that back wing, Weston Epps is running low, whereas we have behind him Lucas Linz is running a medium, and then a few spots back from that, we'll actually jump to him, Andy Ray Miller is running a high downforce. So that rear wing, you just see more of it with that high downforce, less of it. Great shot there, as we can see. Low downforce from Jeff Schroeder and high downforce from Andy Miller, and it just shows, you know, Andy Miller gains all this time on Schroeder. Linz has a medium setup, so he's gaining time on Epps, and Epps is going to probably pull away from him now that he's going down the back straight. So just even the setups, they just really make a difference and make a substantial impact on the outcome of a race. More so at Spa than I think any other track. Monza, we see a little bit of a difference. Some will go medium, some will go low, but Spa is definitely one of those tracks. It's such a big track, especially for these F3 cars. You can make up a ton of time in each sector depending on your setup. And we're going to see, you know, Epps is fighting off Linz right now, but Epps is going to have a huge advantage. Now we're going down the hill towards Eau Rouge and Radillon, and we're going to go down the back straight. Not even a back straight, it's really just a continuation of the front straight here. And it's just such a long straightaway. They've already been driving for about 10 seconds down this portion of the track, and then they hit long straight for another 10 seconds. It was flat out for a good 25 to 30 seconds, and that low downforce that Weston Epps has is going to, you know, make it almost impossible for Linz to be able to pass him.
So what is the difference when you have the low downforce? Does that give you better cornering?
Yep, so that's going to give you better grip in the car. So right now we're entering the middle sector. So you can see Epps has a little bit of a harder time in front of Linz here. He's having a hard time getting through these high-speed corners, whereas Linz has that downforce to keep him suctioned onto the track. Epps is, going to have this little bit of straight line speed here down the short little straight, but we go into a high-speed turn, and Linz right behind him. He's able to accelerate out of the turn earlier, keep that speed up through the turn, and he's just able to nail this sector a lot quicker than Weston Epps can. But we're coming to the end of the middle sector, which means Epps is going to have the advantage going down the straightaways. And Linz that's normally your passing spot, so you give up your middle sector speed, like Weston Epps is doing, and you have that straight line speed. So we're going down the straights now. Epps is going to have the advantage. Linz is going to drop back slightly, and Schroeder is actually able to get into his slipstream. He's only 0.4 seconds back from Linz. And Schroeder is, for the Lumos eMotorsports team, gonna go for a move on the inside after passing what looks like a lapped car in Danny O'Keefe. Wow, yeah, we're getting some real good battles here. Up for third place, we have 4 cars right here in contention. And this is a great look at just how close some of these cars are going to get. But we're going to jump back to some of these other cars in the back who have some close battles. Joachim Flodman right up behind Alexander Shanna, who is followed closely by Marion Barbaro, Paul Ayala, Jackson Carr, and Jack Clark. Another quick grouping of cars there, probably within about a second and a half of each other. And you can see just going down the hill, just how fast these cars are going. We're going to jump back up to Flodman, who is right behind Shanna. He makes his move in that lime green banana car. Let's see if he can make something happen here. Ooh, and it looks like Shanna goes round. Does he touch the wall? I'm not sure that he touched the wall, but he's going to have a hard time getting back onto the track. Looks like he eventually gets going. No traffic coming, so that's a big hit for him. He's looking to get his first points this weekend. Drop down into 14th, but he'll be fighting to get up into 12th place, which is what pole position will be in the inversion for the sprint race. And Jake Potts here, under pressure from Krigsman. It looks like Schroeder has gotten by Lucas Linz. Right behind Weston Epps. Sister teams Lumos and Knox. Lumos in the white, Knox in the black. And Schroeder is gaining a little bit of time here on Weston Epps. Andy Ray Miller here, keeping pace with these guys. This first week this week, Andy Ray Miller. We'll take a look in on Tristan Marshall as well, his first week in the iFormula League. Son of one of our longtime league members. We'll jump to him, Nick Marshall, in that Blue Frog, white, yellow, and blue livery. I love the Blue Frog liveries. Ooh, oh, that's a close call. Almost running into John Journey, but looks like Marshall is going to get on by safely. Sitting back in 21st, he must have been part of that first lap scuffle, I guess we'll say, in turn 1. So some unfortunate luck there for Nick Marshall. But his son coming into the league, sitting in 12th place right now with a couple cars in front of him. So that means he is trying to hunt down his first points of this campaign. And Potts is really under pressure now from Krigsman. Only 2/10 back. And it looks like Schroeder, he's a few spots back. Let's see, we're going to pop up our pit graphic because we're getting to the point to where we are just about close enough to be able to pit. It doesn't look like he's pit yet. Journey on lap 2, a bunch of cars on lap 1 there, but yeah, we're real close. We're going to pop up our battle box here too. See just where everybody is at. You can see the difference for the top speeds of all these drivers. Battle for 5th place here. Jeff Schroeder trying to track down Link and Sean Roberts right now. Yeah, you can see the difference in the low downforce and the high downforce. Low downforce, 169 miles an hour for Floodman, 168 for Schroeder. And then the higher downforce is 157 for Roberts, 156 for Marshall. Barbaro probably on a medium with 164, 163 for Carr. And 160 for Miller, who we know is on a high downforce. So he's actually getting some pretty good speed on high downforce. Back up to Tieko Krigsman, who is now going to take the lead of this race while Jake Potts takes his pit stop. We will see Jake Potts come out somewhere probably in around that 10th place spot, right at the end of the pit lane here. Yep, he is just getting past there by... looks like Jackson Carr just getting by him on some fresher tires. Potts on cold tires now. This is going to be a little bit of a hard follow through Eau Rouge. Cold tires through Eau Rouge with a low downforce setup like he has. That is really rough to try and keep on the track. That rear end likes to kick out on you. We'll see how he handles it. And Carr almost just getting out of the way. He knows Potts has that low downforce setup. Carr has a higher downforce, and Potts is breezing on by him. Ooh, loses a little bit there. That's going to be bad for his first outlap here. But Krigsman up in first. Let's take a look at some of the closer battles on track. We have a couple people coming out of the pits here. Joachim Flodman in 18th. Myron Ianni right behind him. Flodman coming out of the pits, getting his mandatory pit stop and tires. This is a close one going down the back straight here. No moves made by Myron Ianni there. Patrick Olson is going to, or Joachim Flodman, sorry, is going to hold on to 17th place for right now. He will be pushing up, trying to get into the top 12 to get a reverse grid and get on the top row of the sprint race. We're 8 laps in now, which means cars are definitely going to be starting to hit their pit window. I believe the maximum you could go on a set of tires and a full tank of fuel is about 12 laps around here. So lap 12 would be the longest that anybody would be able to go. As we see Weston Epps coming into the pit lane, Jackson Carr coming into the pit lane as well. Weston Epps making his way out. He will probably be a couple seconds behind his teammate, Jake Potts. And yep, looks like Potts is by him a couple seconds up front there. You see him going up into Eau Rouge. But Potts now behind Marion Barbaro. Marion Barbaro has not pit yet. And Weston Epps a 3/10 behind Jack Clark, who has not pit yet either. The two Get Good racing teams. And Jack Clark is going to try and help his teammate Tieko Krigsman out as much as he can. Slow Weston Epps up, and I'm sure Marion Barbaro is not going to make it easy on Jake Potts. And yep, Barbaro there. Actually, that is Nick Marshall, a lapped car. Not making it easy for Jake Potts to get by. Barbaro a couple seconds, 4 seconds ahead of Jake Potts now. Jake Potts is closing that gap very quickly, though. We're going to go to a couple of our new drivers. Randolph Smith for Mercury Motorsports. He is closing the gap on Eli Cannon. You can see him a couple seconds up ahead of him. And Rory Collins is behind him. Rory in the Auriga Motorsports, partner of Orion Motorsports. Or Orion Legendary. Ooh. I'm giving the commentator's curse here. Randolph Smith is doing a little pirouette there, getting himself going again. He is out in the middle of the track. Wow, 2 cars just go by. Shannon and Flodman is trying to keep out of the way. Ooh, and he touches the wall. It's going to be a little bit of damage. Commentator's curse here. Sorry, Randolph Smith, for that. He has a hard time getting going. Those tires are superheated, and he is in the grass, which is not helping. So we know, Josh, that we have, you know, overheated tires like that are not going to be good for anybody. But especially in these cars that really rely on those tires for grip. I wouldn't expect him to come in and get his pit stop over with, but you got to think after burning his tires up like that, he might consider it, even though he's pit on lap 7. What would you think? Would you stay out after a spin like that, heating those tires up that much?
Get down on the grid. It's something to really think about. I don't know the answer to this, but when you guys finish the feature or this heat race here, the sprint race after, does everybody come out on fresh tires, or do they come out on the same setups that they end this race with?
Great question. They come out on fresh tires and fueled up to whatever they want. So top 12 are inverted. For anybody watching that doesn't participate, top 12 are inverted. So if we were to start right now, the sprint race, we were finished in this order. Arturo Mayorga would start off on pole, John Journey in second, Jackson Carr in third, and so on and so forth up the standings tree there. So Smith might consider, you know, grabbing some fresh tires and trying to get, you know, just a clean race to the end, try and make up as many positions as he can to get into that top 12. That's really the aim for anybody that's in the back, you know, even, you know, more towards the mid to back. So you're looking at Arturo Mayorga, John Journey, Eli Cannon, Rory Collins, Myron Ianni, Alex Shanna, Joakim Flodman, Patrick Olson. All those guys they're looking to get into that 12th position or higher. There's one spot that's kind of that in between where it's like you don't really want it, but you know you'll take it because you'll start second on the grid. But 11th place, you don't get a point for 11th, you get a point for 10th. And you get pole for 12th, so 11th is kind of that in-between where you don't really want it, but you'll take it if you get it. And right now we are watching Jack Clark in 5th. This will be some really great points for the Get Good Racing team. Clark is doing a really good job at keeping consistent. His teammate, Tiago Krigsman, up in 1st, really having his way right now. With the rest of the with the rest of the grid, he is pulling away. Lucas Link 12.9 seconds behind. Potts 22 total seconds behind. So he is he's gonna have to really put the pedal down and try and make up that gap so Potts doesn't catch him on the pit stop. Right now we have Weston Epps going by a lapped car and Nicholas Marshall. Once again, Marshall is, you know, down 22nd, but a safety car, you know, something goes wrong, and you know, then they're back in it. They get to unlap themselves, and then you know you're fighting for that 12th spot. So that's part of the new format this year in the IFL. For anybody that's watched in the past, the inverted grid and sprint race is just something that's adding a lot more excitement than what we had in previous seasons. And being only 10% of real F1, that puts us at about 5 laps for Spa for the sprint race. But it is some of the most intense racing in that top 5, or in those 5 laps. You have faster cars behind, slower cars in front, typically, unless there was somebody who was fast that just had a bad feature race. But it gives those fast guys an opportunity to get more points. The guys that finished, you know, down in that lower 12th position, 11th position, that second chance, but it also, you know, they get a chance to finally be out front and defend, which they might not normally get. I mean, if you're normally finishing just outside the points, and all of a sudden you're thrust into, you know, being pole position, you know, that's a completely different feeling on the grid than when you are, you know, in the mid pack to farther back. It just changes the dynamic of your racing. You have to defend instead of attack. You have to manage your tires instead of just try and burn them off. It's a completely different feel of the race.
It gives an opportunity for cars who aren't necessarily the fastest but consistent drivers when they get up front. It'll give them that opportunity to show their consistency and make the faster cars really have to earn those top positions.
Yep, and at a track that's like Spa here, like we were talking, the low downforce, high downforce setups, if there's a car that has low downforce but isn't as fast as somebody that has a high downforce, those guys that are in the high downforce cars are going to have to pass during that middle sector. They're going to have to pass when it is least convenient and when it is, at its hardest. And it's going to be, Spa is going to be a tough track to pass on unless you have a low downforce setup. If you have a high downforce setup, you're going to be able to hit that middle sector great, but you're going to be vulnerable down the back straights. And then if anybody's out front and has, a low downforce setup, it's just going to make them that much harder to pass. Even if somebody has a great middle sector, that back sector, that front sector, that low downforce is just going to prevail. It's just straight line speed. Just put the pedal down and let the car do the work. And we're seeing Arturo Mayorga pushing within about a second of Eli Cannon here. Eli Cannon, one of our long-standing members of the IFL. Arturo as well. Eli Cannon, I believe, came in Season 2. Mayorga, I want to say, came in at the end of Season 2, maybe even Season 3. Mayorga coming in with the Blue Frog Racing. He's the principal of that team. Eli Cannon, the principal of Orion Legendary and of Aurigo Motorsports. And those two teams, they're normally fighting each other. Eli Cannon, we saw come home higher up in the grid earlier in the season. I believe race 1 he ended up finishing P5 and getting his team some fairly good points. It's looking like Mayorga is falling back from Cannon here. He's trying to find a good battle on track, and it's looking like one of our top guys, Jake Potts, is starting to close the gap on Tieco Krigsman. He's getting into that middle sector where Krigsman's going to have the advantage. 1.6 seconds. Krigsman is probably going to put a little bit more of a gap. You see Krigsman right there. Just out of reach of Jake Potts. If Jake Potts can get into the slipstream, that slipstream is very powerful, especially around here where the straightaways are just, they seem like they never end. They're just going on and on for miles. And we've seen some pretty good shuffling back on the grid. Some guys that got into the lap 1, turn 1 incidents are starting to make their way back up the order. We see Flodeman and Olsen, both some really good qualifying from them, but they are down in 15th, 16th. They're going to be pushing as hard as they can to get to that 12th place spot. Alexander Shanna right there as well in 14th, going to be pushing up. Rory Collins, Arturo Mayorga, they both pit on lap 1, so they're going to have to pit one more time. They will not be able to make the end of the race on fuel. Same for John Journey in 10th place. So those are 3 positions that will be possibly overtaken by Tristan Marshall, and then Alexander Shanna, Joaquin Flodeman, and Patrick Olsen. Patrick Olsen still has to pit as well. Pit on lap 1, probably due to damage. And this is going to be interesting. There's some definite shuffling that's going to be going on as we see Lucas Lins going into the pits. And his mandatory pit stop. Like we said, the latest you can go is 12 laps on a full tank, and he went full 12 laps. He is now out. John Roberts behind him, but he has his teammate in front of him there. That is looking like it is going to be Marchi. I believe that is Mr. Ricardo De Marchi. Yep, he is letting his teammate pass, giving him a good boost, and he might try and hold up Sean Roberts behind in 5th place. Sean Roberts driving the... Can't tell, is that pink or is that purple, Josh?
I'll call it purple.
Purple. Purple United Motorsports car there. For all you that don't know, I am colorblind. So these bright and colorful cars get the best of me sometimes. It looks like we have John Journey behind him. Great racing so far. A lot of cars right on top of each other. As we see Sean Roberts. Ooh, yeah, he's making some progress here. Roberts in 5th, trying to look for that 4th place spot. Trying to chase down Linz. It's looking like we're starting to see some of those lap 1 and lap 2 pit stop cars coming in, and our real finishing order is going to be kind of shuffling into play here. A lot of cars hitting on lap 8, lap 7, a couple on lap 10, and then like we saw Lucas Linz there, 12 laps. He really pushed that tank to its maximum. Yeah, Roberts should have enough fuel to get to the end of the race. Pushing up behind Linz here, and we have Jeff Schroeder behind Roberts as well in the 92 car. 13 car of Sean Roberts here. He's going to have a great run on Linz. Let's see how we do going down into Eau Rouge. Up over the hill in Radion, and we have, yeah, these 3 cars are within a half a second of each other, and it's just going to tighten up as we go down the back straight here. Jeff Schroeder only 1/10 behind Sean Roberts, but Sean Roberts getting pulled along as well by Lucas Linz. Jeff Schroeder trying to, use that slipstream, but it's just not nearly as powerful when the person in front of you is being pulled as well.
As a racer yourself, where would you want to be when you're in a situation like this? Would you want to be the front, middle, or the trailing car? What do you find to be the most advantageous?
It all depends on my wing. If I am in this middle sector, I want that high wing and I want to be out front. Which looks like what Sean Roberts is trying to do right now, and he's getting there. Side by side action here. Lucas Linz, Sean Roberts. Linz is able to win out there. Linz is going to want it exactly where he's at, out front, and coming up to the exit of the middle sector, coming down the back sector here where he's going to have all the speed in the world. Sean Roberts behind him. He's going to get a good slipstream, but Roberts might not be able to keep up with Linz's top speed with that low downforce. But even behind them, Linz has a medium downforce. Roberts has a high downforce, and then you can see Jeff Schroeder closing in. He has the lowest downforce of the 3 of them, and Schroeder going down on the inside of both of them. Can he make the move? He is holding on there. Too wide. He makes a move on Sean Roberts, and Roberts is not in the position he wants to be, and he wants to be able to keep in front of these drivers while they're down the straight, and Schroeder going way inside. Wow. Side by side, taking a little bit more curb than he would like. Sean Roberts is just trying to hang on there. He's in a really good double slipstream. You can see these cars are right on top of each other through Eau Rouge. Lucas Linz going to try and make a move on Schroeder going down the back straight here. You can see Marion Barbaro in the background just coming around the corner. He is closing in on these 3 drivers fighting. And you can see that little bit of slipstream. Lucas Linz gets the... Ooh, and Sean Roberts spins out. He gets off the track in time. Marion Barbaro goes by. Let's go back to our 2 fighting drivers. Lucas Linz, Jeff Schroeder. Yeah, this would have been where Sean Roberts would have had that nice advantage, where I would have liked to have been Sean Roberts in the back. being able to move in front of these two drivers. And then if I can keep them behind me going down the back straight, then that would just be, you know, icing on the cake. You want to be going into the middle sector out in front if you have high downforce, and you want to be coming out of the middle sector with a low downforce and be out front, because then it's hard for the other cars to pass you due to their advantages in their respective sectors. But we see Jeff Schroeder here, 7/10 back. He's in the slipstream, most definitely. So we're going to jump to a little farther back. There's a closer battle on track. John Journey here pushing up behind Joachim Flodman, and Journey's teammate Alexander Shanna just a second ahead of them. We're going to be jumping back and forth here as we have Jeff Schroeder right behind Linz, and we're going to see them go down the back straight. All Lumos drivers right now in the spotlight right now. Some close battles. John Journey only 4/10 back from Flodman. Journey having to pit on lap 14. He was part of that turn 1 incident. We're going to see, going back to Schroeder, going down Eau Rouge, up into Radillon. He's in that slip, 0.4 seconds back. Let's see if he's able to get enough speed to make a move here. And it looks like he will. Schroeder on the outside, which will give him the inside on the next turn. Linz going down on the inside. Schroeder making the move happen for the moment, and he is able to get it done. Let's check back in with John Journey. We're going to see the same thing from a couple of cars, just a couple of lengths back here. Journey with a good exit. Flodman looked like he might have lost the rear just the slightest bit. And this is the battle for you know, potential pole for the next race. This is 13th, 12th, and 11th for Shanna, Flodman, and Journey here. Right now, Schroeder back behind Linz. And Linz, like we said before, he has that middle sector advantage. Schroeder has the straight line advantage. Everybody else so far is pretty spread out on track. And it looks like Shannon might have made a mistake, because now Flodman is only 7/10 behind him. Journey 8/10 behind him. And up to a second now in the middle sector. Looks like all three of these cars have a low downforce setup, so these cars will be fairly even throughout the sectors. There won't be one big advantage over the other, which is what we see at most tracks. Most tracks have a for sure, this is the way to go, this is the way the car should be set up, high downforce or low downforce. You know, there's normally a clear-cut choice, but Spa, it's one of the great things about Spa, you get a lot of variety in the racing. Jump to Randolph Smith here, who is tracking down Andy Ray Miller. No, he's actually tracking down Patrick Olson, sorry. I was looking at the wrong direction on the interval there. Randolph Smith looks like he was part of the unfortunate turn 1 incidents. He is right behind. As much as I want to keep on these guys, I'm going to take a look coming out of the chicane. Shanna, Flodman, and Journey, they are fighting for that pole position. Coming up to the second to last lap here. Tristan Marshall, 5 seconds ahead of Shanna. He's looking like he might get his first points in his first race in the IFL. Wouldn't that be, you know, just a great achievement coming in? It's not an easy league to run in and get points consistently. You see, we have 25 cars registered. That is 15 other cars you have to beat just to get into points. Let alone, if you're going to get up into the majority of the points, you have to beat, you know, 20 other cars. We're going to jump to our leader here, Tieko Krigsman. Jake Potts has dropped back quite a bit. Tieko being able to, I think, make up some of that gap in that pit stop window that Jake pit early. Krigsman pit a little later. I think Krigsman was able to make up quite a bit. get into some clean air and really be able to just run on his own and push himself. Go down the order. Jake Potts here. And Weston Epps. Jake Potts and Weston Epps, Knox Motorsports teammates, running in second and third. That'll be a great points haul for them as T-Echo comes across the line for the fastest lap of the race, a 2:10. He is really pushing himself in the final lap. Seems as though Jake Potts and Weston Epps are running just consistent lines. Want to make sure that they are able to finish this race here. Lucas Lynn's down in 5th. It looks like Journey is still our closest battle right now. Actually, Eli Cannon a couple spots back on Arturo Mayorga as well. 3/10. We have this 3-car battle for essentially what is going to be the beginning of the sprint race. We're going to check out Eli Cannon right up behind Arturo Mayorga, and you never know, if those 3 cars get into each other and Eli's able to pass Arturo, that could be, you know, a top grid spot for Eli Cannon or Arturo Mayorga here. These cars sticking right on top of each other, all within about a second and a half from Shanna back to Journey. Jump to Eli Cannon, trying to make a move here on Mayorga. And he's going to look to get him down the back straight. And Myron Ianni is right there as well. 16th back to 11th place. Never know what can happen. Krigsman coming through the back sector here. We're going to be jumping back and forth with him and this battle with Flodman, Shanna, and Journey. And then the Eli Cannon, Arturo Mayorga battle. Ooh. Eli Cannon is now under fire from Ianni. Ianni has a high downforce, but somehow is getting a better slipstream on Cannon than Cannon was on Mayorga. And Cannon's really having to fight off Ianni here. We're going to check T-Echo Krigsman as he comes across the line. Little celebration, swerving back and forth here. Great race from T-Echo Krigsman. Jump to Flodman, Shanna, and Journey here. Just so much action this late in the race. On the final lap, Flodman is really going to be pushing up on Shanna, trying to get that 11th place spot. Shanna just trying to hold on, and Journey trying to push up. If he's 13th, he doesn't get anything for 13th. If he gets into that 12th spot, that's pole. We see Jake Potts, Weston Epps, Lucas Link, Jeff Schroeder, Mary Barbaro finishing their race. Sean Roberts a few seconds behind them. But this is where the action is. Where will pole be for the sprint race? We're coming down the back straight. Let's see if Journey can get anything in the slipstream. Journey is dropping back. He's a second and a half back. Flodman for a second. Ooh, he is right behind Shanna. Ooh, Shanna in a little deep. Ooh, Flodman on the inside of him. Can he make it work? Oh no, when Flodman spins the back end, turns around, and Journey's going to take 12th. Wow, Journey's going to start on pole for the sprint. Shanna in second. That's 2 Lumos drivers up front. Tristan Marshall starting in third. In his first race, he's going to start in third. Second row on his first race. Let's jump to some of the cars that are still driving. Rory Collins finishing up their race. Back in 17th. Let's see if he can get some points in the sprint. Patrick Olson. 1.1 second back from Rory Collins. Randolph Smith. First race as a Mercury Motorsports team. And that is it. We are going into the warm-up phase. So we have 5 minutes of warm-up before the sprint race. And while we're doing that, let's take a look at the results of the heat. And we have T-Echo coming in first for our feature race here. Jake Potts coming in second. Weston Epps coming in third. A double podium there for the Knox Motorsports team. The only piece they were missing was James Miller, and they would have had a sweep of the podium. But James Miller out this week, missing out on some points, whereas Lucas Linz comes in fourth. Great points for Capral team. Jeff Schroeder for Lumos U Motorsports coming around in 5th. Marion Barbaro in 6th for Get Good Racing. Sean Roberts for United Motorsports. Jack Clark in 8th for Get Good as well. Some more points for Get Good. That's a triple points score for Get Good Racing. 3 out of the 10 point scores Get Good. Jackson Carr in Aurigo Motorsports getting a couple points. And Tristan Marshall in his first ever race as a privateer, future Blue Frog Racing driver. He has 1 point, just missing out Alexander Shanna in 11th, John Journey in 12th, but they will get the front row of the sprint for the start. Joachim Flodman in 13th, Myron E&E 14th, Arturo Mayoga 15th. We're going to drop down a little bit more. We have Eli Cannon 16th, Rory Collins 17th, Patrick Olson for Bananas in 18th, Randolph Smith in 19th, Andy Ray Miller 20th, Paul Ayala in 21st, and Ricardo Marchi in 22nd. Whew! I will say, that was a lot. There was a lot of action going on at all times for this race. That was just unbelievable. Oh, I'm tired. I'm tired after that race, Josh. What about you?
Well, you're doing all the heavy lifting. I'm over here just staying out of your way.
I feel like I'm just not shutting up, but there's just so much action from these drivers. I'm just trying to cover it all. But yeah, we're gonna be going into the sprint race.
So explain the sprint race to me, because I haven't really been present in the league, so this is new to me. And obviously, you guys are in week 3 here, so it's not the first race. So everybody else seems to be pretty familiar. But to elaborate for myself, and then maybe others who haven't seen this concept quite yet.
All right, so the sprint we're doing this year is essentially, well, actually, look the results here again. So we do a reverse top 12. So the drivers during the race, the feature race, are racing for something. 12th place is the goal. If you're not in points, you're racing for 12th. John Journey, he will be the pole position for the sprint race, followed by Alexander Shanna in 2nd, Tristan Marshall in 3rd, Jackson Carr 4th, Jack Clark 5th, Sean Roberts 6th, Marion Barbaro 7th, Jeff Schroeder 8th, Lucas Linz 9th, Weston Epps 10th, Jake Potts 11th, and Tiago Krigman starting in 12th. And then 13th will be Joachim Flodman, Myron E&E, Arturo Mayorga, and so on and so forth down the regular order. The sprint race is just like it's sounds. It's a sprint. It's 5 laps, about 25% of the race that we just ran, and you don't have to take tires. You don't have to fuel. It is a dead sprint right to the end. Everybody just foot to the floor, all out. We're going to see a lot of sends. We're going to see probably some risky moves to try and get some extra positions, and just get those extra points for the leaders. You're looking to maximize your points. You're looking to try and get back from, if you finish in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, you're looking to get from 12th, 11th, or 10th up into the points and get extra points. And the drivers that might have had a bad race, John Journey, Alexander Shanna, Tristan Marshall, Jackson Carr, they're probably feeling like, hey, I could have had a better race. I'm outside the points, or I just got, a couple points. Let's, kick it into gear and try and stay up front. Let's try and get some points for my team. This is, if anything, more of a redemption race for these drivers. So we're seeing the flag fly here, and we are gridding up for it. We only have the 1 minute grid for these drivers. So we're going to do our quick commercial, and we will be back.
Allow extreme scoring to do the work for you.
All right, And Extreme Scoring, one of our 3 sponsors we have this year, Capral Sim Racing. They are one of our other sponsors, and Butt Kicker, one of our sponsors since the beginning. But we are going to focus on John Journey. He is up front, paired with Alexander Shanna, his teammate, next to him, locking out the front row here. Journey will have that inside line. Shanna will have the outside. Let's see how this unfolds here. We are about to go green. 5 lights are on. And away we are off. And it looks like Shanna has a better start than Journey. Tristan Marshall having a pretty good start, but we see those faster cars coming up really fast behind. Let's see if we can keep it together through turn 1, and much better turn 1 this time. We see Journey and Shanna right on top of each other, teammates. Let's see if there's any team orders here. Looks like Shanna's got the better line. 3 wide almost going through Eau Rouge. Krigsman, ooh, going way wide. That's 4 wide in Eau Rouge. We have Epps, Linz, Schroeder, Krigsman. Ooh, wow, just people just jumping all over. And Shanna takes the lead of the race. The real action here is Tristan Marshall trying to hold off 2 cars in Marion Barbaro and Jackson Carr. Jackson Carr taking 3rd place. Ooh, and they go around Marion Barbaro getting into him. They're off track. No safety car thrown. Unfortunate, but we're going to see that in the sprint race. And it looks like Tristan Marshall is holding up what seems to be most of the pack. See the 2 cars up front there, Alexander Shannon and John Journey, trying to run away as much as they can, while Tristan Marshall is being hunted down by Jeff Schroeder, Jake Potts, Lucas Linz, Krigsman, Ian Olsen. Just tons of chaos. Ooh, and we see a car go flying off. That is Jack Clark. He is in the wall. He is resetting. Tristan Marshall, he's just trying to hold on to points. He doesn't have to hold on very long. Ooh, and another big wrecking back here. That is Andy Ray Miller and Danny O'Keefe touching. Like we said, we're going to see a lot of elbows out here. How do you think this one's going to end here, Josh? You think we stay in order? You think Tristan Marshall is going to be able to hold some of these guys off, or?
From the start, it looks like this is a perfect example of someone who gets that redemption, as you were saying. And as you say that, we have.
Oh, what a wreck! Wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars. Tristan Marshall involved. Looks like Jake Potts is stuck to him. Weston Epps there, getting moving again. Yeah, that's going to take out a good chunk of cars that were right behind. We see Patrick Olson move up. Let's see where our grid movements are. We have...
Everything we've seen is fallen perfect into Shanna and Journey's hands here. Everybody fighting behind them, they've kind of gotten away from the field.
Yep, and right now we're looking at Shanna, Journey, and Schroeder, all teammates, 1, 2, 3 right now. Taking a triple podium would be the first in IFL history, but Schroeder is holding off Linz 0.8 seconds behind him, and Journey is right behind Shanna. You never know what's going to happen there. I believe, in previous statements, Shanna and Journey and Schroeder have all said, yeah, we're going to race each other. We're not going to, team orders won't be a thing. We're just going to let it happen. Whoever's faster will come out on top. And Lucas Linz is really looking to come out on top, pushing behind Jeff Schroeder here. It looks like he's far away, but he is less than a second. In a blink of an eye, Krigsman can be right behind Linz. Linz can be passing Schroeder. Marchi is in 6th. He jumped up quite a bit from his starting position. He was wrecked out in 22nd, I believe, so he might come home with some points. We can see a lot of the cars in pit road and out of the race. Andy Miller, Jack Clark, Jake Potts, Myron E&E, Jackson Carr, Marion Barbaro, Eli Cannon, Rory Collins, and Mike Capral all out. We're going to take a look. Ooh, Smith is making a move, looks like, on Nick Marshall up in... Oh, that is that Tristan Marshall? No, that's Arturo Mayor in the Blue Frog Racing. And Nick Marshall right behind Smith. They're getting the last couple points here. They're aiming for the last couple points here. 8th, 9th, 10th right now. And Weston Epps right behind them in 11th. He's got that low downforce. So it looks like the two middle cars in Nick Marshall and Randolph Smith have the higher downforce. Mayorga has the low downforce. Weston Epps has the low downforce, so Weston Epps is going to be looking to get by these guys down the straight. Ooh, going into Eau Rouge. What a risky play there. To see how fast these cars come over that hill. It's a thought on how they don't get air. As we see, Linz is having a hard time, and Krigsman is right behind him. We see Tieco Krigsman really pushing. He's going to want to maximize his points, taking home the win in the Grand Prix main race here. And we are already halfway done with this race. The great thing about the sprint is it's done and over with really fast. You can see Krigsman pushing himself off track just a tiny bit, trying to get the maximum amount of speed. These two fight here in the middle sector. We're going to look at Weston Epps in 9th now. Nicholas Marshall getting a little bit wide. Randolph Smith as well right behind Weston Epps and Arturo Mayorga. Arturo with that same downforce as Weston Epps, low downforce, so they should be fairly close in the back straight, but they should pull away from Randolph Smith and Nick Marshall just on car setup alone. We see Krigsman down the back straight. He has the advantage with the lowest downforce. He is flying. 1/10 away. He's going to look to get Linz down the front straight. They are real close, almost touching each other. Ricardo Marchi right behind Krigsman too. Krigsman is having to defend and attack at the same time. That is not an easy feat to do. We see Weston Epps going into the pits. I am sure he probably has a meatball flag from the stewards telling him to go and get repaired since he had some damage from that lockup going into the chicane. At 4-5 here. Shanna coming down the back straight with teammate John Nicholas Journey. Couple seconds back, 2.5 seconds back. Schroeder in 3rd, so it's a 1-2-3 Lumos. Schroeder takes a position from Journey. Looks like either team orders or just team courtesy. Journey giving the position to Schroeder there. We're going to jump back to Arturo Mayorga. Paul Ayala. They are following Ricardo Marchi a couple seconds ahead of him. But we have Randolph Smith and Nick Marshall. Nick Marshall and Arturo Mayorga working together here, trying to make this track as wide as they can. We have Tieco Krigsman. We missed the pass here on Lucas Linz, but he is up into 4th. He's going to be trying to chase down John Journey, as we saw finished in 12th. Alexander Shanna in 11th and Jeff Schroeder in 5th in the feature. So, if the results are correct, that would mean Krigsman, Linz, and Marchi are definitely faster than the 3 drivers in front of them. So the gap should be coming down very quickly here. We're going to jump to Randolph Smith, but it's going to have to be really, really quick because there's 1 lap left. What are you thinking of the sprint so far, Josh?
Yeah, it is. I think it's a great addition to the league. It adds a little bit of extra excitement for the mid-pack guys having the opportunity to run up front, and in this case, not only run up front, but have a 3-second lead even.
Yep, yeah, Shannon with a 3.2 second lead over his teammate Jeff Schroeder, being followed closely by teammate John Journey. So unless something dramatic happens here, it's looking like a 1-2-3 finish for the Lumos team, but You have Krigsman lurking behind, you have Linz lurking behind, Archie lurking behind. They're all right on top of each other. They might be able to just get a really good slipstream. Looks like Krigsman just flying down the straightaway here. Journey in the slipstream of Jeff Schroeder seems to be, pulling him along, saving him a little bit. Ricardo Marchi, the two Capral team members here, and Lucas Linz trying to get double points for Linz, feature and sprint. Some redemption there for Marchi. Jump back to Randolph Smith, Nick Marshall, and Paul Ayala. Looks like they've separated quite a bit, so we're going to focus on Tieko Krigsman, who is closing in on John Journey. Wow, 1.1 seconds. Oh, sorry, that's my bad. 0.3 seconds, so Krigsman is right behind Journey. Journey was running around mid-pack during the race, so he is potentially a mid-pack runner trying to defend against the race winner of the feature. It looks like he's being slowed up the slightest bit, Krigsman. Linz and Marchi are definitely closing the gap on him. Jump back, Randolph Smith right behind Nick Marshall here. Wow. They're going through the mid-sector. We're going to jump back up front. We'll jump back and forth. John Nicholas Journey here defending. Jeff Schroeder right in front of him, his teammate. These drivers are all within a second of each other. A total of about 4 seconds splits to 5 cars. Looks like Jeff Schroeder coming across in second. Alexander Shanna comes across, wins the race. Jeff Schroeder in second. Tieko Krigsman, what a move to get done on John Journey. Lucas Linz right behind him. And Ricardo De Marchi in 6th there. Paul Ayala coming across 7th. We have Randolph Smith made the pass on Nick Marshall for 8th. Nick Marshall in 9th, and Arturo Mayorga in 10th. Paul Ayala here for Mercury Motorsports. Great finish. We have Weston Epps coming across. Had to pit due to damage. Sean Roberts as well. He was up front. Had some damage pit for Olsen as well. Danny O'Keefe getting a finish here. Jack Clark for Get Good. Missing out on points in the sprint here, but great run here from all these drivers. Tristan Marshall getting into it with Weston Epps, Jake Potts at the chicane during the sprint race here, dropping back to 16th. But Shanna coming home with the sprint race win. Teammate Jeff Schroeder in 2nd. Tieko Krigsman in 3rd. John Nicholas Journey in 4th. Almost a three podium lockout there for the Lumos guys, but missed it by 1 turn. Lucas Linz in 5th. Ricardo De Marchi in 6th. I hope if I pop up our standings for the feature here, or for the sprint. Ricardo Marchi in 6th. Paul Ayala in 7th. Randolph Smith in 8th. Nick Marshall 10th, and Arturo Mayorga getting our last points of the sprint. Weston Epps in 11th, just missing out on points. Sean Roberts 12th. Patrick Olsen 13th. Danny O'Keefe 14th, and Jack Clark 15th. And that is Spa. Week 3 done. It's up. We're over. We're going to be getting out of here. But first, Josh, any thoughts on the race?
Yeah, it was the sprint race. I really enjoy that edition. That's just like you said. It's just pedal down and get after it. There's nothing to save. Just go get the win.
Yeah, I think that's one of our favorite things this season is that sprint. So we're going to be looking forward to seeing it again at Brazil, which is our next week coming up on Sunday. Everybody that's out there watching, make sure you come on out, watch if you guys are interested, if the league looks like a lot of fun, which, knowing from experience, it is a lot of fun to race in these races, especially in the sprint section. Just visit the league website. You see it down there in the middle, iFormulaLeague.com. And definitely check out our sponsors, Butt Kicker. They provide us with some great prizes at the end of each season. Capral Sim Racing, Also doing some great sim racing prizes at the end of the season here. And Extreme Scoring, who does a lot for us on the software side and the back end side. They take care of just about everything from our driver ratings to scoring to team scoring. And even they can do paints if you really want to. They can run your paint system just like trading paints, so you have a little bit more control for your league. So Extreme Scoring, if you run a league or thinking of running a league, they are essential, making your job 1,000% easier. So check them out. Other than that, I think we are all wrapped up here in Spa. Week 3, going into week 4. Brazil, here we come. Any other last words before we sign off here, Josh?
I appreciate you asking me to do this. I didn't really add much, but it was a really fun experience.
Yeah, I mean, next time maybe I'll shut up a little bit more and let you get some more words in. But like I said, just tons of action here. I was just trying to keep up with it all, but definitely some great insights and some great questions raised from you, Josh. Thank you for joining me, and we're gonna sign off here and see you next time in Brazil coming up this Sunday. Take care.